Lin summoned the battlefield Ghost King, who pointed its fingers at the soul-devouring Insect King and prepared to cast the Nihility spell. On the other hand, the soul-devouring Insect King was busy dealing with the Soul Blaze spell Lin had used earlier. Seizing the opportunity, the battlefield Ghost King attacked with the Nihility spell. However, the soul-devouring Insect King noticed it, moved to the right, and dodged. This evasion angered the Insect King, who then roared loudly, shaking the entire forest. The Abyss Demons and Dragon Warriors, who were fleeing, heard the roars and wondered who was daring enough to confront such a formidable enemy, asking if that person was truly unafraid of death. As the soul-devouring Insect King summoned thousands of soul-devouring insects to the fight, Lin smiled and said, "Perfect timing." When the insects came within Lin's range, he used his Skeleton Fangs skill. Hundreds of skeleton fangs erupted from the ground and flew towards the insects, easily killing hundreds of them since they were closely clustered together, making targeting unnecessary. After defeating the insects, Lin immediately used his Corpse Explosion skill, saying, "I've been waiting for this moment." All the corpses surrounding the soul-devouring Insect King exploded simultaneously. The king was caught in the blasts, surrounded by corpses with no chance of escaping. The explosions directly hit the Insect King, causing its body to start burning as it screamed in pain. Lin ordered the undead general to give the soul-devouring Insect King no space to breathe. On the general's command, all the skeleton mages raised their staffs and bombarded the Insect King with mixed spells, leaving no route for escape. The skeleton warriors surrounded it on the ground and used their Raise Strike skill to target the Insect King's eyes. Injured and angry, the Insect King struck the ground with its huge legs, creating cracks that caused some skeleton warriors and mages to fall in. Meanwhile, a human hunter running away heard the Insect King's shrieks and asked other hunters if they had heard it too. Another hunter replied that he also heard the cries, which sounded like they were of pain. One hunter speculated if someone was attacking the soul-devouring Insect King, noting that the loot it dropped was all high-quality items. Another hunter told him to stop thinking about the loot and focus on escaping, as it would be troublesome otherwise. When Lin saw some skeletons and the soul-devouring Insect King fall into the cracks, he also jumped in with his army. As the skeleton warriors and mages fell into the crack, the soul-devouring Insect King smiled, reached out its hand, and grabbed the skeleton warriors, starting to eat them. Lin received a notification that 5 skeleton warriors had been destroyed. After consuming 5 skeleton warriors, the soul-devouring Insect King's wings collected all the energy and turned blue, signaling its readiness to escape. Surprised to see it attempting to flee, Lin knew the Insect King's agility was too high. If it escaped, he wouldn't be able to catch it. So, Lin immediately used his Slow Curse spell, which conjured chains that tied down and halted the soul-devouring Insect King's movement. The Insect King struggled to break the Slow Curse chains, but it didn't work. Lin walked towards it, holding the Thanatos scythe, with the battlefield Ghost King right behind him. Lin smiled and told the soul-devouring Insect King not to think about running, saying, "I'm very interested in your body and soul." At Lin's command, all the skeleton warriors and mages attacked the soul-devouring Insect King, cutting off its wings so it could not escape. Lin then used his Soul Blaze skill to attack the Insect King, setting its entire body aflame with soul flames. The battlefield Ghost King then used its Nihility skill, killing it directly. For defeating the soul-devouring Insect King, Lin received 5 million experience points. He also obtained a soul-devouring dagger, a soul-devouring ring, and 5 soul crystals. The soul-devouring dagger, exclusive to assassin-type professionals, is a platinum-grade weapon that increases all attributes by 2500 and assassin-type skills by 80%. It also has an additional skill, Devour Soul. The soul-devouring ring increases all attributes by 1000 and decreases spirit depletion by skills by 20%. The soul crystal is a one-time use item that permanently increases spirit by 1000 each use. Lin was shocked to see his rewards. Currently, he only had enough spirit to summon 1 undead general, making the soul-devouring ring and soul crystals perfect for him. He walked towards the corpse of the soul-devouring Insect King and thanked it for all the loot. Lin raised his Thanatos scythe and used the evocation skill, saying, "Revive and become my servant." The soul of the soul-devouring Insect King emerged from its body, but disappeared just before entering the Thanatos scythe. Lin received a notification that the evocation had failed. Surprised, he wondered if it was because the soul-devouring Insect King's level was too high. Lin decided to try again. Focusing, he used the evocation skill once more, and this time, he succeeded in turning the soul-devouring Insect King into one of his summons. The soul-devouring Insect King didn't turn into an undead, but transformed into a soul. Lin obtained a level 50 soul-devouring Insect King's second form, with its strength and constitution at 60,000, agility at 25,000, and spirit at 10,000. The soul of the soul-devouring insect king went into the Thanatos scythe. Afterward, Lin tried to summon the soul-devouring insect king, but his summon failed. He understood that his current spirit was insufficient to summon it, thinking perhaps it would be enough after using these soul crystals. Still, he didn't know if the soul-devouring insect king could revert back to its first form in its soul state either. After that, Lin started heading towards the cave that the soul-devouring insect king had tried to escape into earlier. Looking at it, Lin said, "A world formed by the gnawing of the soul-devouring insects. Is this the soul-devouring insect king's lair? Since the soul-devouring insect king was trying to run towards this, I wonder if there might be something inside that could save its life." Thinking all this, Lin entered the cave. Inside, he was shocked to find a world-level boss in the cave. The cave Lin entered was the lair of the soul-devourer's insects, and inside was a level 51 soul-devouring mother, a world-class boss monster. Its strength and agility were 0, but its spirit and constitution were 100,000. It possessed skills like soul-devouring, soul explosion, soul cold box, and super incubation. Physical damage to it was reduced by 30%, elemental damage by 30%, and soul damage also by 30%. Lin was shocked to see the soul-devouring mother's stats, wondering, this is the world-class ancient trial field boss. The soul-devouring mother's attributes are truly horrifying. When Lin got close to the soul-devouring mother, it woke from its sleep and stood up. Some eggs around the soul-devouring mother suddenly hatched, and from them emerged level 50 soul-devouring insect guards, head-level monsters. Their strength and agility were also 0, but their spirit was 100,000, and their constitution 50,000. They possessed the spiritual shield skill, which reduced physical and elemental damage by 70%. They are a joint of similar souls. When the soul-devouring insect guards emerged from their larvae, they immediately cast a spiritual shield around the soul-devouring insect mother. Lin knew that 4 layers of shields were superimposed, and it was not easy to break. So, he called his skeleton warriors. But before the skeleton warriors could attack, the soul-devouring mother used her soul explosion skill and attacked the skeletons. The skeleton warriors were caught in that attack, all hurt to varying degrees. Lin was surprised to see the soul explosion skill, but he didn't have to worry as he had the undead general. The undead general raised his wand and used the Legion healing skill, healing all the injured skeleton warriors. Lin took a sigh of relief, thinking, fortunately, I have the undead general. If it were the me before, I would probably be defeated after just a few more rounds of soul explosions. After getting healed, all the skeleton warriors charged at the soul-devouring mother. They used their swords to attack, but their swords were unable to pass through the spiritual shield. The skeleton swords couldn't even scratch the soul-devouring insect guard's spiritual shield. Lin also didn't know how to destroy this shield, noting that there were even soul-eating insects continuously devouring souls to replenish the strength of the insect mother and insect guards. When all the skeleton warriors gathered around the soul-devouring mother, it again used its soul explosion skill, sending all the skeleton warriors flying around. Lin was surprised because it had always been him who interrupted the enemy's skills with the soul flame. He didn't expect that this situation would fall on him now. Right after using the soul explosion skill, the soul-devouring mother next used its soul frost skill, suddenly causing the whole dungeon to shake. Before Lin could even do anything, he got a notification that one skeleton was killed in the battle. Lin was shocked, but it was not the end. All the skeleton warriors close to the soul-devouring mother started to freeze. Seeing that, Lin summoned the skeleton mages, who immediately used their elemental spells and started attacking the soul-devouring mother from all directions. But even their attacks were unable to break the spiritual shield and reach it. Seeing that even the skeleton mage's attack didn't work, Lin got ready and used his skeleton fang skill. Hundreds of skeleton fangs came out of the ground and went towards the spiritual shield, but even that didn't work. Lin's skeleton warriors continued to freeze there. Lin got a notification that 12 skeleton warriors were killed. Left with no choice, Lin got ready to use his ultimate skill, Soul Blaze. But he wasn't sure if Soul Blaze could ignore the shield. When the soul-devouring mother saw Lin using a soul skill, it got nervous. It immediately used its soul explosion skill and attacked Lin. But Lin's skeleton armor protected him against that attack. Lin smiled when he noticed that the soul-devouring mother started to panic when she saw the flame of Lin's Soul Blaze skill. Lin now understood that this trick would work. He got ready and used the Soul Blaze skill to throw green soul flames at the soul-devouring mother. Seeing Lin use the Soul Blaze, the soul-devouring mother immediately used its Soul Frost skill. The soul-devouring insect guards who cast the spiritual shield around the soul-devouring mother used all their spirit to strengthen the shield, but nothing worked. When Lin's soul flames hit the spiritual shield, it immediately melted. Lin got ready because now it was his turn to attack. On the other hand, hunters who were running away noticed that the cry of the soul-devouring insect king had stopped. They wondered if someone had killed the soul-devouring insect king, and were curious to know who it was. Noticing that the soul-devouring insect king's cries had stopped, some dragon professionals arrived right above the soul-devouring insect lair, where Lin had been fighting with the soul-devouring insect king before. Even those dragon warriors were shocked to see that the entire soul-devouring insect territory had collapsed. They wondered who had done this. Curious, a dragon asked his leader who won the battle. The dragon leader said, "I don't know," and suggested, "How about we take a look? If it doesn't work, we can run away." Even if the soul-eating insect king is still alive, he must be seriously injured. All the dragon warriors agreed, and they all jumped in. Right after those dragons, some hunters from Xiajing Academy's Genesis College arrived there. They also discussed whether to go or not, and ultimately decided to jump into the crack. On the other hand, Lin destroyed the soul-devouring mother's spiritual shield. Lin raised his hand towards the soul-devouring mother and said, "Let yourself taste the soul attack." He got ready to attack the soul-devouring mother with another soul blaze.